Hello, so I'm doing an angle kit install on my JZX100 Mark II here, and I'm going to be installing the Serial 9 angle kit, the AK-49 knuckles, along with Cusco upper control arms, and I might need to install 12mm spacers, so I have extended wheel studs, but we'll see. This is the current stock angle. This is the, it's in lead. This is the lead side, this is the driver's side. Can see, so the only things I really have on this car is a DMAX tension arm, if you can see it, there you go, and just some DMAX super street coilovers, and yeah, this is the lead. This is how it is here. So the lead is pretty good actually on the stock. I'm very impressed. I think it might have to do with the caster as well, but I'm running about 7.5 degrees of caster. So let me turn the wheel the other way to show you. So I will say the chase, when the wheel is in chase, the Ackerman is like a lot less, so you can see it's not really following what the lead wheel is doing here. So you can see it's actually quite good for the lead, but the chase wheel is pretty far behind in terms of Ackerman. So I'm hoping these knuckles will help with that, because you can't really like throw the car hard because it won't really catch itself. It'll kind of fall off and it'll just spin out. So first step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen this tie rod end. It should be a 19mm, and then after that we're gonna take off this nut here, as well as the other two nuts that hold the knuckle into the spindle, and then we're going to take off this nut and then the cotter pin as well on both, and then take this guy out first and then take the knuckle out, and then it should come out pretty easy. Alright, so I got everything disassembled, got the old knuckle apart. So these knuckles, they are actually not that old. They're about a year old. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so these knuckles are about a year old. The tie rods I think are original, but this actually has like, they're not as stiff as the new ones I have. So, and this one, these are cooked, like the tie rod ends. They are schmoovy, and then this is the attachment. Sorry, it's still like stiff. I'm gonna keep it as a spare because these are actually OEM. I know because I had them replaced, but they're only a year old, so it'll be good to have them as backups. But I have the whole thing apart now. So I took off the outer. I'm gonna keep, or the inner. I have the new inners, but I was told that you can just reuse the stock inners. I'm gonna put everything back together. This was pretty easy. I just used a Pitman puller from AutoZone I rented. Where did it go? This thing. So it came off pretty easy. Not too much grease falling all over the place, which is good. And then for the bottom bolts that hold the knuckle into the spindle, this guy, these were really tight. I could not use my impact. This little guy, it's kind of small, but I had to break out the chiller bar. Oh, just the jack handle. Put it like halfway. It came out, no issue. I threw some PV blaster there. Yeah, came out. That was the only like hiccup I had. So now on to putting the new ball joints and knuckles in. Alright, so I just finished installing everything. I just have a random wheel on right now. Get a light in here. Yeah, so just finished installing everything in this side of the car, at least. On the left side. So as you can see, we have our left side, our AK-49. We have our outer tie rod billet. I still need to raise the car an inch to correct it for the RCA that the AK-49 has, but I'm just trying to test clearance, make sure everything clears. So far this side looks okay. It's not hitting the brake line, which is good. mean, this is... Let's see. I might have to bend it a little bit. We'll see. I still have spacers and stuff, but at least leading, it's pretty, seems pretty good. Let me get up and see. So this is the new angle for the lead, and we will go to the other side. This is the chase angle, or the, yeah. Then we will see the chase angle on the other side and we can compare. So and make sure, I think it is hitting something in the front there, so I have to check that. So this is the lead for this. This is the new chase. That's a lot, but it is rubbing on something. You can see the clearance is pretty tight in here. Let's see. You know, kind of sounds like it's hitting the frame. Let me see. I wish I had a light. That was not my phone. Let's see. It is pretty close. I think it's hitting the... So it doesn't hit anything here, but as soon as I give it like full lock, it rubs on the chassis. So it's not... Maybe I could just throw in a 10 or a 3 mil and call it a day. I still have to put the upper control arms on to see, but in the other side, it's so far it's not too bad. Other, like on the lock side, it's actually fine, and it actually clears the sway bar. This is full lock and it clears the sway bar. It's just rubbing on the chassis, I believe, so I gotta take care of that. But yeah, the AK-49 knuckles are installed. So they do have the torque specs on here as well on the bottom of these. So this new style is still like 40 foot-pounds, and then the two Castle, or sorry, the two 14 mil 12 points are 100 foot-pounds, and this one is 91 foot-pounds. Make sure you put your cotter pin in, and yeah, I mean that's it. It was pretty straightforward. Kind of just slips on everything. I think the hard part was trying to get the knuckle to sit on the adapter by yourself, because the thing is so heavy with all the brake components and everything. So I had the jack, so it was a little bit easier, but yeah, just keep that in mind. The thing is very heavy. So you can try and do the method that Serial 9 does, where they put the ball joint on first and then they put the knuckle, or they rest the spindle on the ball joint and then they put the AK-49 knuckle. I just found jacking it up and then putting the adapter with the knuckle together and then putting it on top worked for me after a few attempts. But yeah, I mean, everything's put together, everything's tight, so it seems pretty good. I have to do the other side and the upper control arm, but other than that, yeah, it seems to be going pretty good. And then I have to raise the car an inch, because otherwise it's gonna like blow up the fenders. So yeah. So I'm just raising the car about 1.25 inches, because when you add the RCA, it's plus 35 mil, So you have to raise the car about an inch to make it the same height. So I'm just gonna put it roughly around where it's supposed to be. Alright, so I just, this is the next day. I was gonna install the upper control arms and the extended studs, but I just ended up putting a 3mm spacer on. I have everything buttoned up underneath here. Let me turn the wheel forward. Yeah, the car is on. With the keys in, so as you can see, kind of. Got a light here, serial 9 knuckle adapter, and the cut ball joint, along with the tie rod end. This is the right way around for the tie rod end. So you want to make sure that the right and the left they're facing the right direction for each side, because you want the clearance for the tension arm bolts that you see right over here. I had them flipped the wrong way before, and they were hitting on there, and then once I flipped them back around, I gained a lot more clearance. I also had to bend the brake line bracket that's up there to clearance the wheel. This is an 18 by 9.5 plus 30 plus a 3mm spacer, and it's like barely rubbing. So when I get the lock adapter or the steering rack stoppers, it should stop it a little bit outside, and then it should be good. As you can see, I just moved the wheel like very slightly, and it's free spinning very nicely. The other side is a little bit better. I don't want to keep bending the bracket because I don't want to. So yeah, I mean, this is the steering lock. Let me see. So this is the lead, as you can see, and then this is the chase for Ackerman. The Ackerman's actually pretty good here, a lot better than stock for Ackerman. See, this side spins pretty freely as well. So yeah, I just gotta get an alignment. I'm gonna do something pretty like normal. Gonna run like probably like up to 0.0 degrees toe out on each side. I don't want to run too much toe out. I like to street drive the car, so yeah, I mean, that wraps it up. Pretty straightforward install. Other side took like, so that passenger side took maybe half an hour, and then this side took like 15-20 minutes because it's pretty straightforward. The hardest challenge was like removing the knuckle bolts from that side. For some reason they were like super tight. I had to get a cheater bar, like I said before, I think. And then also just like sandwiching everything. It's just like annoying, but once you get the hang of it, I mean, the knuckle weighs like so much, so you just have to remember that. And the thing is just like trying to move all over the place. So I had a jack next to me holding the knuckle up to help, but if you're on a lift, then it might be different. But yeah, I mean, that sums up the 100 Angle kit install. Have to test it now just to make sure everything's tight. I did take it for a small drive just to make sure everything felt like okay around the neighborhood, and the steering's like pretty tight, and it feels like very sharp. The steering angle is insane. I'm just doing a U-turn on like this tiny road. It's genuinely hilarious. You couldn't really do that before in this car, but now it's just like absurd. I've never driven a car that just does that, so we'll see how it is just driving around, and then I'll also have to take it to an event to test it out and you know, improve my driving skills. So yeah. Alright, so it's been a few days since I've installed the 100 Angle kit, which you can see right here. And I'm doing the upper control arms over here, and I'm replacing them with Cusco control arms. I already did the other side. Here, I can show you. Over here, these are the Cusco control arms. So these are part number, they start with 1.7, and I have them in like the second most negative setting before the last one, and there's like maybe like a 10 mil gap between like that is created. I think it's like about -5 degrees because I took the shock off to test, but yeah, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward install on this side. Just make sure you jack up the front of the suspension before you start tightening. Yeah, just when you go to do the install, make sure you jack up the suspension before you're tightening the bushings, because if you don't, then it's not going to be at the right, like the bushings are going to get twisted when you like put the wheels back on and the shocks, and the bushing will twist upwards. So yeah, just make sure you do that. And then so yeah, I would suggest taking the shock out before doing this because it makes it a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cotter pin off. It's like one of the reusable Toyota ones because this is the original upper control arm, I think, for this car. And then we're going to take the upper nuts out and then the lower nut here for the suspension, and take the shock out, and then I'm going to be able to take the upper control arm out much more easily. So this is a 19, I believe, and then the other two are 14s up here. Those 2 bolts. I'll write down all the torque specs in the video as well for everything. But it's pretty easy to find. It's the same as the IS, at least for this sort of stuff, so you shouldn't have any issue really finding all of these. And then yeah, and then the rest of it is just reverse assembly. And then I'm gonna put extended wheel studs as well, I have from TF Works, and then install those with a 12mm spacer. Hopefully it'll bring the wheel out enough, and then it should give me more clearance inside this whole wheel well area as well. So alright, so I went ahead and took the shock out. It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, now I just got to take the upper control arm out. So this is a 19, and then these two are 14s. These bolts are like pretty long, and then I'll show you how to pop the thingy off as well, because I see a lot of people just hammer it, but there's a slightly easier way to do this. So just give me like a few minutes. Alright, so my suggestion is to just use a Pitman arm puller. You just pop that John on there, and then you just tighten this guy, and it should just make a loud pop noise. If I tighten it, it will do that. Give me 1 second. Alright, here we go. So let's make a loud pop. Like that. And then yeah, there you go. It's free. You can take this John back off, and yeah, your upper control arm is free from the knuckle. As you can see, it spins freely. This nut is just like super stuck. I already loosened the other 2 bolts here, and yeah, I'll just take this guy off now. Alright, so here's the old versus new. You can see I have this on the second to last adjustment, and it actually moves it pretty far back. Like I've had these lined up. So maybe like 5 mil, but it translates to about like -4, -5 degrees of camber, especially if you lower your car a decent amount. And then yeah, it comes with new nuts, and it comes with a new cotter pin. And then this is the 175. This is the part number, if anyone is curious. This is specifically for JZX, so do not buy the IS version of this, because it's not going to end up well for you. You're not going to get the same amount of camber you want. And then you can see this ball joint here is pretty gone. It's pretty original, so it's tight. I will say the bushings on this ones are actually like in okay shape. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and swap this guy over and tighten everything down. I'll list the torque specs up in the corner as well, just if you need them. It's the same as the IS, so nothing different over there. Alright, so the new Cusco upper control arms are in. Everything's torqued. These bolts that go into the chassis, these are 43.5 foot-pounds. And then the OEM bolt size for this is a 17, but this one is a 19, the one the Cusco one is supplied with. And I just torqued it to OEM spec, which is 65 Newton meters, which is about 48 foot-pounds. And then yeah, I just gotta put in the rest of the coilover and everything, and then tighten everything, and then I'll install the wheel studs after that. Alright, So I don't know why the lights are not working. Okay, so I'm just about to install new wheel studs and wheel spacers. So I just took off all the brakes, all the, you know, the caliper and the brake disc over here, and I just soaked the where it locks into with PB Blaster. And the other side, I already did the other side, as you can see. Ignore the. You can't really see it. Oh, you can. You can't, but it does have the extended studs. So, oh wow. So now you can really see. So I just put a ton of PB Blaster in between the threads, and then you just want to hammer these guys out. It takes a couple whacks. I mean, these are the original ones, so it takes a few whacks to get them out. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And then I'll show you how to pull them through as well. So we're gonna put the new wheel studs on. We just left one on just so I can hold it. So you just put this John in, then you use your wheel stud installer tool. It's literally just like, you could use a bunch of washers, but then the lug nut becomes sacrificial. So you can just do this instead. It's like $7 on Amazon, and yeah, I mean it works. So just kind of make sure your stud is like kind of straight. The tool will help keep it straight as well, so just keep that in mind. Let's see. And all you do is you grab your impact, and then you just go. And I gotta hold the other side, but you see the stud kind of going in. It's not all the way fully seated. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap, so you'll feel it as well, like when it seats properly. It'll like vibrate the whole thing. And then you take this guy off. And there you go. That's one.